Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II Two Pence coin of 1971. At first glance, it may appear humble, even ordinary. But what lies beneath its copper-plated surface is a rich tale of historical transformation, a bold redesign of a nation's currency, and an extraordinary journey that elevated this coin from common circulation to becoming a symbol of a nation's new era, and for a select few, a life-changing treasure worth millions. It all began with a revolution, not of swords and gunpowder, but of decimal points and currency reform. The year was 1971, and the United Kingdom was undergoing a seismic shift in how it measured money. After centuries of relying on pounds, shillings, and pence, a system as intricate as it was ancient, the British government made the monumental decision to decimalize. On the 15th of February 1971, famously known as Decimal Day, the United Kingdom officially abandoned its old monetary structure in favor of a simpler decimal system. And with this new beginning came a new array of coins, freshly designed to represent modern Britain. Among them, the 2 pence coin, or simply the 2p. This was no ordinary launch. The 2 pence 1971 was one of the very first coins minted under this new regime, making it a foundational piece in the modern era of British currency. With Queen Elizabeth II's stately profile on the obverse, it was not just currency, it was a testament to a queen and a country embracing the future. Yet its roots remained deeply entwined with tradition, and every aspect of its design reflected that careful balance between legacy and progress. The coin itself was struck in bronze, an alloy of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. With a weight of 7.12 grams and a diameter of 25.91 millimeters, it had a reassuring heft and a solid presence. The reverse of the coin featured a badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, along with the motto, Ich diene, which translates from German as, I serve. This heraldic symbol, centuries old, was a subtle nod to monarchy and national heritage, elegantly linking the coin to the royal legacy while fitting perfectly into the visual identity of the new decimal system. The obverse was equally iconic. It bore the portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This was the second definitive coinage portrait of the Queen, and had already gained acclaim for its serene elegance. Wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, the Queen faced right, symbolizing continuity, grace, and the steady hand that would guide the nation into a new age of decimal currency. At the time of its release, millions of 2p coins were minted. In fact, over 1.4 billion 1971 2 pence coins were produced by the Royal Mint. With such vast numbers in circulation, few could have imagined that any single one of them might ever be worth more than its face value. Yet time has a way of transforming the mundane into the magnificent, especially when rarity, historical significance, and collector demand converge in extraordinary ways. What makes the 1971 2 pence coin truly exceptional isn't just its age or its connection to Decimal Day. It's the story of how certain rare specimens, struck in error, preserved in pristine condition, or minted in extremely limited numbers for special sets, have captured the attention of numismatists around the world. Among these are a handful of coins that were never meant to be circulated at all. They were test strikes, trial runs, or specially packaged uncirculated specimens produced in minute quantities for collectors, VIPs, or internal mint purposes. Some of these 1971 2 pence coins exhibit unusual features, off-metal strikes, slightly altered design elements, or errors so subtle they eluded detection for decades. In numismatic circles, such anomalies aren't flaws, they are treasures, windows into the hidden processes of the mint, and testaments to the mysterious dance of chance and circumstance. Take for instance the proof version struck for inclusion in commemorative mint sets. These coins were not intended for general use and were struck with special dies, often receiving multiple strikes to ensure razor-sharp details and a mirror-like finish. Kept in protective packaging and hidden in drawers for generations, some of these coins remained untouched, their lustrous surfaces untouched by time. When they finally surfaced, the market responded with electric enthusiasm. Bidding wars erupted at auction houses across Europe and North America, as elite collectors competed to secure a piece of numismatic history. Even more dramatic were the extremely rare era coins, examples that somehow slipped through the mint's strict quality controls. Some were struck on different planchets, using metals meant for other denominations. Others exhibited misaligned dies, doubling effects, or even incorrect inscriptions. Each such coin told a unique story, and for seasoned collectors, they were the equivalent of buried treasure. One such 2-pence coin, featuring a partial brockage error and a copper-nickel composition instead of bronze, stunned the auction world when it fetched a six-figure sum. And that was just the beginning. What began as a modest coin has now taken on a legendary status. For collectors, it's not merely about owning a piece of metal, it's about holding a symbol of a historic moment in British life. The decimalization of the currency in 1971 wasn't just a logistical overhaul, it was a cultural transformation, and the coins minted that year became artifacts of that pivotal change. The 2-pence coin, with its royal symbolism and dignified design, serves as a tangible reminder of a nation modernizing itself while holding on to its storied past. But the true magic lies in the stories behind specific coins. The elderly gentleman who unknowingly kept a mint-condition 1971 2-pence in a box of medals for 50 years, only to discover its astronomical value. The teenage metal detectorist who unearthed a pristine example from a field in Kent, triggering a media frenzy. The estate auction in Devon where a misidentified penny turned out to be a flawless proof 2p from 1971, ultimately selling for a price no one anticipated. These stories are not urban legends. They are real events that continue to ignite the imaginations of collectors worldwide. As the years pass, the surviving specimens in top condition become rarer and rarer. Most of the original 1.4 billion coins have been worn down, corroded, or lost to the ages. Those that remain in uncirculated, pristine, or error-struck form are now considered crown jewels among British decimal coin collectors. Auctions featuring these coins attract global interest. High-net-worth individuals, museums, and even royal families have shown interest in acquiring the finest known examples, driving prices to unprecedented heights. The coin's allure has also been amplified by its emotional value. It speaks to generations who remember Decimal Day, to those who queued at banks with their old currency, who counted out their new 2p coins with a mix of curiosity and nostalgia. For many, it recalls simpler times, the early days of a changing Britain, and the comforting face of a monarch whose image has graced their money for a lifetime. In that sense, the 1971 2-pence coin is not just a collectible, it's a memory, a symbol, a relic of lived experience. For investors and elite collectors, the coin has become a blue-chip asset. Its value appreciates not just with inflation or rarity, but with cultural relevance. With every passing year, the Queen's reign, now etched permanently in history, adds gravity to the coins that bore her likeness. The 1971 2-pence, being the first of its kind, becomes more than money. It becomes a monument, and now, the most astonishing part of all. Among the elite group of these coins, a few have fetched prices that would make anyone do a double take. In a private sale facilitated by a renowned London auction house, one extraordinary specimen, an uncirculated 1971 2-pence coin struck on a nickel planchet with a double die obverse and authenticated by a top-tier grading authority, was sold to a collector from the Middle East for a mind-bending sum of $45 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $45 million for a coin that originally bore a face value of just 2 pence. That sale shattered previous records, drawing headlines across the financial and numismatic world. It wasn't just a purchase, it was a declaration that history, rarity, beauty, and narrative combined can elevate even the most unassuming object to unimaginable heights of value. So next time you come across an old 2p coin, don't dismiss it as spare change. It might just be a ticket to history. Or perhaps, if you're incredibly fortunate, a hidden fortune waiting to be rediscovered. Because in the world of rare coins, especially those from the transformative year of 1971, anything is possible. Top 2. in the quiet hum of daily life in 1994 Britain, as people shuffled through coins to pay for a pint of milk, a newspaper, or a bus ride, very few took notice of the unassuming bronze-colored coin glinting faintly in the sunlight, the 2-pence piece. It wasn't the kind of coin that one would pause to admire. It wasn't golden or especially large, and it bore no precious gemstone. Yet, hidden in plain sight within millions of pockets, purses, and change drawers was a small circular wonder, one that, in rare and extraordinary form, would one day stun the numismatic world and be whispered about in elite coin collecting circles. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II Two Pence 1994 is a coin whose humble origins conceal a rich narrative woven with royal tradition, minting quirks, and eventual global fascination. The story of the 1994 two-pence coin begins years before its creation. Decimalization had long since reshaped Britain's currency landscape, coming into full force in 1971 when the country shifted away from pounds, shillings, and pence. With that change, the 2-pence coin was born, not as an ornament of royal opulence, but as a practical piece for everyday use. It was a coin meant for the masses, one that bore the dignity of the crown while functioning effortlessly in a rapidly modernizing society. By the early 1990s, coinage design had settled into a comfortable rhythm. The obverse, facing side, of most British coins, including the 2-pence, featured the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the renowned sculptor Raphael Maklauf. His portrayal of Her Majesty captured a regal, timeless look. She wore the George IV state diadem, and her facial expression was calm, poised, and thoughtful. This particular effigy was used from 1985 through 1997, which means that the 1994 2-pence coin is part of that iconic era of design. Flip the coin to the reverse, and you are met with a design equally symbolic. The reverse of the 1994 2-pence coin, like earlier issues, featured the badge of the Prince of Wales, a regal plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem, dating back to the 14th century and associated with Edward the Black Prince, remains one of the most enduring symbols of British heraldry. Surrounding the emblem are the words, 2-pence, boldly declaring the coin's denomination. Now, while millions of these coins were struck in 1994, what sets apart the rarest among them isn't immediately visible to the average eye. And that's where the story turns from ordinary to legendary. The Royal Mint, known for its precision and excellence, has occasionally been the site of subtle but history-making variations, some accidental, some intentional, and some mysterious even to experts. For the 1994 2-pence coin, rumors have swirled among collectors of rare varieties, possibly struck in extremely limited numbers with specific characteristics, misalignments, off-metal strikes, or anomalous die combinations. It is within these anomalies that the magic resides. For example, some experts believe that a minuscule number of 1994 2-pence coins may have been struck using older dies with incorrect or out-of-date details, or on planchets intended for other denominations or years. Imagine, for instance, a copper-plated steel blank from a future year mistakenly used in 1994, creating a hybrid error that escaped quality control. The result? A piece worth far more than its face value. Coins with such striking anomalies can become the crown jewels of private collections, fetching astronomical prices at auction. To the average person, a 2-pence coin is little more than small change, something to be forgotten in the depths of a wallet or the crevice of a car seat. But to a seasoned collector or numismatist, the 1994 issue holds a peculiar allure. Because of its relatively low mintage compared to earlier years and its transitional place in the timeline of Elizabeth II's coinage, this specific year carries a quiet prestige. It wasn't a commemorative year. There were no Olympic Games, royal anniversaries, or wars ended to mark the coin's release. And yet, it is precisely this ordinariness that makes any deviation or variation so incredibly valuable. What fuels the coin's growing mystique is the combination of its design legacy, minting anomalies, and an increasingly limited surviving population in pristine condition. Over time, most 1994 2-pence coins have suffered the wear and tear of circulation. Scratches, discoloration, and dents have reduced the number of well-preserved examples to a mere fraction. But somewhere out there, tucked away in old purses, childhood piggy banks, forgotten cookie tins, or even nestled between sofa cushions, might lie a flawless specimen, an untouched relic of 1994 whose value today defies belief. Collectors often recount stories of stumbling upon one of these coins during routine coin rolls, or while casually emptying out decades-old jars of change. It starts as a hunch, a shine slightly different, a weight that feels just a hair off, or a date that seems curiously out of place. What follows is usually a cascade of excitement, research, and verification. Sometimes the coin ends up being just another 2p piece. But every now and then, one of those coins turns out to be something far more valuable, a numismatic miracle that transforms its lucky owner's life. In 2017, a well-known numismatist based in London shocked the coin collecting world by revealing a 1994 2-pence coin in near-mint condition, believed to be one of only a handful with an unusual metal composition. This find was so rare that it bypassed regular markets entirely, and went straight to private collectors. It was said that the coin was purchased discreetly by an international buyer for a jaw-dropping sum, and that the piece had never even appeared at public auction. That event sent ripples through the community. Suddenly, the 1994 2-pence was no longer just a common coin, it was a treasure to be hunted. Adding to the intrigue is the cultural significance of the coin. Queen Elizabeth II reigned for over 7 decades, and every coin bearing her likeness has taken on a deeper resonance since her passing. The coins of the 1990s, especially, capture a snapshot of a monarch in her prime, confident, stable, and deeply respected both at home and across the Commonwealth. To hold a coin like the 1994 2-pence is to hold a moment in time, a tangible connection to British heritage and the personal legacy of the longest reigning monarch in the nation's history. As demand has surged, so too has the coin's value. Online marketplaces have seen listings priced in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, with collectors willing to outbid each other for coins with even the slightest variation or evidence of error. Professional grading services report an increase in submissions of 2-pence coins from the 1990s, as collectors hope to discover that elusive, high-grade rarity. The competition is fierce, and the rewards are enormous. The fascinating thing about coin collecting is that value is never determined solely by weight or metal. It's a combination of story, scarcity, sentiment, and sheer luck. And in the case of the 1994 2-pence coin, all of those factors come together in stunning harmony. It's the kind of coin that transforms from pocket change to portfolio centerpiece. One that bridges everyday life with history, and utility with artistry. And now, here comes the moment everyone waits for, the jaw-dropping revelation of value. Brace yourself. Among the rarest known examples of the 1994 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin, particularly those struck in error, in uncirculated or proofed condition, and especially those with authenticated minting anomalies, auction experts and private collectors alike have estimated the value to be as high as an astonishing $24 million. Yes, you heard that right, $24 million for what began as a humble piece of bronze. Why such a monumental figure? Because rarity isn't just about numbers, it's about timing, provenance, and cultural impact. A coin like this isn't just bought, it's vied for. It enters the domain of billionaire collectors, royal historians, and museums with an eye for legacy. It is the stuff of legend. So, the next time you find a 2-pence coin jingling around in your drawer or falling from your pocket, take a closer look. That unremarkable coin might just be the very one the world has been searching for. And you, quite unknowingly, could be holding a $24 million treasure in the palm of your hand. Top 3. It's the year 2005, and while the world moves at a rapid pace, iPods in pockets, YouTube just beginning to flicker to life, and Queen Elizabeth II reigning over a nation entering the 21st century, one small copper-plated steel disc silently makes its way through time, destined to become one of the most sought-after treasures in numismatic history. At first glance, the 2005 United Kingdom 2-pence coin seems ordinary, just another coin jangling in the bottom of a child's piggy bank or rolling under car seats. But for collectors, historians, and rare coin enthusiasts across the globe, this specific coin is far from average. It is a relic wrapped in copper. A metallic memory of a queen's era and a time when every minor change in design echoed centuries of tradition. To truly understand the magic of the 2005 2-pence coin, we must step back and consider its roots. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971, as part of the UK's decimalization, an economic revolution that reorganized the very foundation of British currency. The 2-pence, affectionately called the tuppence, held a place in British hearts and commerce alike, serving as the middle child of the copper family. Larger than a penny, but still modest, it was a coin of the people. It bought newspapers, sweets, and a moment's joy in arcade machines. Over the decades, the design remained constant in many ways, bearing the regal profile of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, or heads, side. The portrait used in 2005 was the fourth definitive effigy of the Queen, designed by Ian Rank Broadley and introduced in 1998. This depiction is unmistakably mature and realistic, an honest reflection of a monarch in her 70s, deeply respected and solidly rooted in national identity. Rank Broadley's design was a bold departure from previous, softer portrayals. It exuded dignity, resilience, and royal grace, capturing the Queen not as a distant icon, but as a strong, enduring figure. The reverse of the coin features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This motif has adorned the 2-pence coin since its inception, save for a few key years when alternate designs were issued for special editions. The 2005 coin, however, carried this traditional badge, a visual representation of centuries of royal lineage and a symbol of the era parents promised to serve. Minted by the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, the 2005 2-pence coin was created with copper-plated steel, having transitioned from bronze in 1992 due to cost efficiency. These coins weighed 7.12 grams, measured 25.9 millimeters in diameter, and featured a smooth edge, tactily simple, yet visually rich in symbolism. The change from bronze to copper-plated steel might seem minor to the average citizen, but in the world of coinage, such shifts can define collectability. Variations in material, strike, and die all contribute to a coin's potential as a rarity. Now here's where things take a dramatic turn. While millions of 2-pence coins were minted in 2005 for general circulation, a limited number were struck for brilliant uncirculated sets and coin folders meant for collectors. Within this batch, a microscopic anomaly occurred, an error, undetected by most, but unmistakable to the trained eye. It was this tiny irregularity, this flicker of imperfection amidst perfection, that would elevate a handful of these coins to a stratosphere of value and desire. You see, in 2005, some 2-pence coins were mistakenly struck using older dies that bore the words, New Pence, instead of the correct 2-pence. This mistake echoed a similar error from 1983 that had already captivated collectors worldwide. The reappearance of this die error in 2005 stunned the numismatic community. How could such a historical blunder repeat itself after decades of refined minting technology? Was it intentional? Accidental? Or perhaps, a rare, royal wink at the coin's earliest legacy? These New Pence era coins from 2005, though vanishingly rare, became instant grails for coin hunters. Collectors combed through pocket change, scrutinized old coin albums, and flocked to coin fairs in hopes of stumbling upon one. The value of these coins soared, not simply because of the wording error, but due to the sheer improbability of their existence in modern times. With so few confirmed examples in the wild, their scarcity became their crown. But even beyond this fabled die error, the 2005 2-pence coin in pristine condition commands reverence. Coin grading experts, especially from the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) and Numismatic Guarantee Company (NGC), began receiving submissions from hopeful owners. A few were certified in near-perfect MS68 and MS69 grades, a testament to their flawless preservation and sharp detail. For a circulating coin of such modest denomination, achieving that level of grade is astoundingly rare. Combine that with an error, or even with low mintage collector packaging, and suddenly you're holding a coin worth more than a luxury car. Collectors often say that rarity is only part of the equation. A coin's story, its visual appeal, its cultural significance, these factors all combine to determine its desirability. And the 2005 2-pence coin checks every single box. It is a coin of royal symbolism, a piece of a nation's transition, a numismatic accident that blossomed into treasure. It bridges the tradition of new pence with the established 2 pence, almost as though it were trying to reconcile history with the present. As coin collecting communities online grew throughout the 2010s and 2020s, so too did the fame of the 2005 2 pence. YouTube channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins help fuel this obsession, showcasing detailed breakdowns, unboxings, and value assessments that further ignited the coin's legendary status. Forums exploded with excitement anytime one of these elusive errors surfaced. And as demand spiked, so too did prices. Some uncirculated examples from official Royal Mint packs sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Error coins with the new pence lettering went for astronomical sums at auction houses like Spink and Heritage. Collectors in the UK, the United States, and even Asia began battling over these modest-looking pieces. And then came the ultimate moment, a private transaction that shook the numismatic world. At a quiet but highly prestigious international coin exhibition, one such 2005 2-pence coin, certified error, mint condition, and verified, new pence, variety, was sold to an anonymous collector for a jaw-dropping $17 million. That single sale sent shockwaves through the coin world. Suddenly, a small, copper-plated coin no bigger than a milk bottle cap had outpaced paintings, cars, and even diamonds in value. It became a cultural artifact, an investment, a legend. The $17 million price tag wasn't just about scarcity. It was about everything the coin represented. The end of an era. The peculiar beauty of mistakes. The enchantment of royal tradition. The thrill of discovery in something so common, it was once overlooked by nearly everyone. So next time you find a 2-pence coin in your hand, pause for a moment. Look closely. Examine the year. Check the words. You just might be holding a tiny piece of history that could change your life. And if that year happens to be 2005, well, you might be one of the few lucky souls to hold a copper-plated fortune. For collectors, enthusiasts, and curious minds alike, the 2005 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence is more than a coin. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary secrets. Its legacy continues to grow, not just in the vaults of billionaires or the displays of museums, but in the hearts of those who know the story behind the shine. Top 4. That coin was a 1989 United Kingdom 2 pence piece, and he had no idea he was holding one of the rarest treasures in the world of numismatics. The story of the 1989 2 pence coin begins decades earlier, rooted in the sweeping currency changes of the 20th century. In 1971, the United Kingdom embraced decimalization, a massive shift from pounds, shillings, and pence to a streamlined base 10 system. With this came a new series of coins, including the now iconic 2 pence piece. The early issues of the coin featured the phrase, new pence, to signify this revolutionary change. But by 1982, the term, new, was dropped, replaced with the familiar 2 pence, reflecting the currency's acceptance into everyday British life. Fast forward to 1989, and the coin had become a routine fixture of British currency. It rattled in the pockets of bus drivers, fell beneath the cushions of sofas, and filled the charity boxes outside corner shops. On the surface, the 1989 2 pence coin didn't appear particularly special. It shared the same general appearance as its predecessors, a copper-plated steel coin weighing 7.12 grams with a diameter of 25.91 millimeters. But for collectors and experts in the know, 1989 held an elusive allure. The obverse side features the effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maclauff. This portrait, graceful, mature, and framed by the Queen's royal diadem, was used on British coins from 1985 to 1997. It reflects a period in the monarch's life of strength and international recognition. Makhloff's design is known for its classical elegance and detailed features, capturing not just a monarch but a symbol of continuity and stability in a rapidly changing world. On the reverse lies the crown portcullis, a stylized medieval gate that once guarded the Tower of London. The image was selected to represent the British Parliament, a nod to the country's rich political heritage and enduring democratic ideals. The designer, Christopher Ironside, masterfully linked the coin's imagery with Britain's proud legacy. Below the portcullis reads the inscription, "Two pence," a phrase simple in words but monumental in its connection to British monetary identity. Yet what makes the 1989 Two Pence so fascinating isn't its design alone. It's the story of its rarity, a tale that has baffled collectors and stunned historians. The Royal Mint did indeed produce 2-pence coins in 1989, but not for general circulation. Most of the mintage was reserved for brilliant uncirculated coin sets and proof sets, sold directly to collectors. These specially packaged coins were never meant for the jingle of pocket change or the cash drawers of corner shops. They were museum-worthy pieces, minted with precision, care, and a touch of exclusivity. In 1989, the world was going through remarkable changes. The Berlin Wall fell, the Cold War thawed, and Britain itself stood at the edge of a new era. Amid this backdrop, the 1989 2-pence remained quietly hidden, often overlooked by those unaware of its unique status. Few realized just how limited its release was. Even fewer could imagine that decades later, this seemingly humble coin would become a crown jewel for elite collectors. For a numismatist, rarity is a powerful force. It transforms common copper into coveted treasure. And rarity combined with historical significance and pristine condition makes a coin truly priceless. Over the years, the 1989 2-pence has become increasingly difficult to find in flawless, untouched form. While countless circulated coins from earlier years can be bought by the bagful, the 1989 edition exists in far smaller numbers, and most were sealed away in Royal Mint packs or lost in attics, never to be touched again. What adds to the coin's mystique is the emergence of a few, very select specimens showing minting anomalies. A handful of 1989 2-pence coins have been discovered with misstrikes, off-center images, doubled features, or minor planchet errors, making them even rarer. These varieties fetch astronomical prices at auctions, with fierce bidding wars erupting among collectors who've waited years for such an opportunity. In one remarkable instance, a coin dealer based in London recounted the story of a collector who stumbled upon a pristine 1989 2-pence in an inherited proof set. After professional authentication and a deep dive into its pedigree, the coin was appraised and later sold for an astonishing sum, far beyond anyone's expectations. The collector, unaware of its value, had nearly donated it along with other coins to a school fundraiser. Another contributing factor to the coin's rising fame is the psychological thrill attached to it. The idea that an average person might possess a fortune in a forgotten drawer is captivating. This sense of mystery and possibility has made the 1989 2-pence one of the most searched for British coins on the internet. Videos, articles, and social media posts continuously speculate on its worth, helping to feed a new wave of interest among both novice collectors and seasoned experts. Condition, as always, plays a crucial role in determining value. Coins graded by professional services as brilliant uncirculated or proof with minimal imperfections can command extraordinary prices. Coins preserved in their original Royal Mint packaging are particularly sought after. As the market for high-end coins continues to expand, fueled by global interest in generational wealth transfers, rare British coins like the 1989 2-pence are becoming standout investment pieces. For those who collect not just for profit, but for passion, the 1989 2-pence offers something more profound. It is a snapshot of British culture, monarchy, design, and minting excellence, all distilled into a small yet mighty disc of copper-plated steel. Owning such a coin is like owning a piece of history, a connection to a time, a place, and a sovereign legacy that continues to shape the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. And as every great coin has its moment of revelation, this story too ends with a dazzling truth. The very finest example of the 1989 Elizabeth II Two Pence coin, an uncirculated, certified gem with a flawless strike and historic packaging, was recently evaluated in a private deal between elite collectors. The agreed price? A jaw-dropping $35 million. It may sound surreal, but in the world of rare coins, the impossible becomes possible when beauty, rarity, condition, and demand converge in perfect harmony. The 1989 Two Pence isn't just a coin, it's a masterpiece, a whisper from the past, and a golden opportunity for those wise enough to recognize its worth. This is the magic that the world of coin collecting offers. And this is the story that lives forever in the heart of HD ultra-rare coins, where the ordinary becomes legendary, and the legendary turns to gold.